What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. And I think this is my last unboxing for the year, but I thought you guys would like to see this. This is a really, really cool item. Just back from Collector Archive Services. This was over a year in the making, not because of them, but because of the component pieces that I wanted to gather for this. And I did not think that it would ever happen, but I did finally get all three items, two of which you've seen, one of which you've not, to make this one coherent, beautiful piece of art. And I can't wait to show it to you. I'm actually just going to go ahead and unbox it live because it is one item technically. But to get this thing assembled, it took about a year of searching before I finally was able to acquire everything that I wanted at a fair price. But let's go ahead and get this out. I'm going to go ahead and do it live. As always, be careful with me. But I'm going to go ahead and take this thing out. Just arrived literally about 2 minutes ago. And the mailman was awfully rough handling this thing. And I wanted to yell at him, but I was nice. And I said, please be careful with it next time, because these items are extremely fragile. And at least in my mind, very rare. So let me go ahead and get him out. Almost there. And should we do another dumping of the bubble or of the peanuts? I think so. Let's do it. Oh my goodness. Look at all those beautiful peanuts. We've got the case that originally was sent in. That will be used for a future order, I am sure. But here we are. Oh my goodness. I hope that was good for you, as it was for me. Bear with me, you guys can look at my Luke and Vader collection while I get this thing out of the envelope. This one is really special. I'm just so excited to show it to you. And here we are. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the poly bag. I've been drinking like 10 cups of coffee waiting for the mailman to show up. So I am wired to the gills. I'm like a gerbil on one of those little kind of round running things that they have inside of the gerbil cages. I'm like one of those right now. I'm so wound up. Okay, here we are, guys. This is pretty amazing, and it just turned out amazing. No cracks in the case that I can tell. Here we are. Ta-da! This is a first generation Boba Fett Polish bootleg with a first generation translucent blue blaster, which you've seen. What you have not seen is the first generation unused overstock card back that I assembled with it. So I've shown you guys the Boba Fett before. I showed it to you after I won it in an auction. The blaster I got almost a year ago, over a year ago now, in a different purchase. It really was like I think it was like 4 or 5 bootlegs that I got all together, and it came with an unarticulated Stormtrooper. But the unarticulated series, as you may or may not know, or may not care, the unarticulated series do not have weapons. So I started doing a little more research on it. I was like, I think this might be a first generation Polish bootleg blaster, and sure enough it was. I had it looked at by the Polish bootleg experts that I'm friends with. And then recently I got this card back, and wow, I mean, how amazing did this turn out? So we got all first generation components for it. I'm going to do a zoom in here because this is just amazing. You can see the Polish writing on there. It's got the Y-wing, and then the Boba Fett I centered on the card because this is how they looked when they were originally sold. So they came in like a bubble that was stapled to the card, centered on the card most of the time. Obviously, there was no weapons included. Usually the weapons were sold in separate baggies. But I had them, instead of using brackets this time, I had them use an etched accessory case. So that turned out really nice. You can see just how amazing it looks with all the brackets and everything. But just an absolutely beautiful item. And here's the grading label on it. Here we go. Let's see if I can stay focused here, guys. Sorry. 1980s Polish Star Wars first gen blaster, Boba Fett articulated bootleg displayed with card back, and it came back with an 80. So, you know, I had the option, just there's only a limited number of lines for these. I wanted to say unused or overstock card back, but that would have required 2 lines. And I thought it was more important to mention that it was a first-gen blaster, because that's what it is, and those are very difficult to acquire. But just an amazing item. But it is a true overstock card back, as you can see here. It has a one little... Oh, no, that's just dirt. Okay. Because it was advertised as an unused card back, and it is. It doesn't have any staple holes in it. It does obviously have some staining, just given the age, but usually these have staples in them from where the bubble was attached. So I tried to have it assembled, basically, to make it look like a mint on card, because this is the closest I'll ever get to a mint on card Polish figure. They're just so... I mean, I've never even seen one for sale in, 2+ years. So I'm sure they have changed hands, but you don't see them on eBay, and I've never seen them for sale in the Facebook groups either. So I have no idea what a true mint on card would sell for, but probably well more than I could ever afford. If I had to throw a round number out, I would guess at least a couple $1,000. But anyway, I've got as close as you can get to it, and it just turned out amazing. I absolutely love it. And so while we're on it, I thought we'd pull out this one, which you guys saw briefly in a different video. So this is a first generation figure and card. Now, this one is not period correct or historically correct. I'll go ahead and admit that now. This is a true second generation card back, but I included a third generation figure. Only because I couldn't find a second generation Biker Scout. You just don't see them very often. I'm not positive that this is a third generation, but every single bootleg guy I talk to thinks that it is. The paint is pretty uniform. We'll just do a quick zoom. This is just to show it with it, but the paint is so uniform on it that it was probably done by a factory, which probably means it was a third generation figure. But this is a second generation card back. But I went for aesthetics here because the figure matches the card back really well. The Boba Fett, I went with to be historically correct. So everything in there is first generation, the card back, the figure, and the blaster, as I've said multiple times, so I'll shut up. But man, how amazing do those two look together? Just really turned out awesome. Really excited about it. And I just thought you guys would like to take a closer look at it. So let's do one final zoom. A lot of my viewers, they like to have the slow motion close-ups. So this is definitely the pride of my collection now, in terms of my Polish collection. But how amazing is that? Now, I'm going to get into a little bit more detail than you guys probably even care about. You will find these for sale occasionally on eBay or in the bootleg group. And, the ones that have been used obviously have staples. And then you'll also see sometimes on the back, usually in the lower corner, but it can be anywhere, you'll see the stamps from like tariffs or whatever for, sales tax and things like that. So that's something to look out for, if you're looking for a used card back. There are unused card backs that have printing errors, and you'll see like a scratch or like a white scratch that goes across the card back, usually right in here above where that blaster is. It's like a white scratch that goes across it. And that's like a printing error or, whatever. But that is something you will see. It doesn't mean it's not authentic if it has that white scratch going across. But I do see that quite a bit with a lot of these card backs that are advertised as unused. You'll have like it's like a printing error that happened for a lot of them. And so they were probably tossed out by, the bootleg manufacturers. I'm guessing. I don't know the whole story in terms of what happened there, but my guess is that they were probably tossed out or set aside, and then they corrected the printing, so it didn't have that. So you do see those sometimes, but this is a really nice, clean example with no staples, no printing errors in terms of the paint. Someone did mention that there might be a misspelling up here. I haven't looked into that in more detail yet, but that is another possibility. Anyway, I've hit 10 minutes. I'm trying to get my videos down a little bit because I know some people don't like to watch these forever, but I just thought you guys would love to see how beautiful that turned out. And so now I've got a first generation and a second generation card back, and maybe one day we'll add some more, but this is probably going to be it for the year. Everything else that I have in grading will not be done until January or after. So thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.